All right, yay. Hang on. I have to turn on your microphone.
Okay.
Here we go. How's
morning.
that? I told you it was casual. I mean,
Yeah.
Coffee with Kurt and Kate, the casual edition. is
We
what
lip
it is.
sync it.
All right, so we had to set up the studio after the radio show,
Yes.
and everything is discombobulated. Mm-hmm. Should that be the word of the day, discombobulated?
That's a good word. Discombobulated. We should start the word of the day again.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Yes.
All right, in the comment
I'm
section
thinking,
down below,
let
what do
me
you think,
know.
guys? Should we start the word of the day segment? Should we have that come back to the show? If so, let us know in the comments. It's Coffee with Kurt and Kate, the virtual edition, which means we have a lot to get to. Would you please kind of show, if you could, some of the... You've got the prize pack that we're giving
Yes.
away, the deconstructed
Coffee
prize
from
pack.
Dignity Roasters and my favorite part.
Hey,
you
somebody's
go.
calling me right now.
Are they telling you you're live?
Don't
on
they know
stream?
that I'm live on Facebook and YouTube? What's wrong with the... You know what it says? It says scam likely.
Oh.
Story of my life.
One of the reasons I don't turn my phone on quite a bit. But yeah, these mugs, really nice.
Yeah.
I really like them.
Right. All right. So let's show everybody
Yes.
what the prize pack is. It's the Kurt and Kate Mornings coffee tumblers,
Yes.
which are very popular, new and improved.
Very nice.
Then we have the Kurt and Kate Mornings coffee from Dignity Roasters. And so we're going to throw that in as well. There we go.
That's right.
You can see it in Kate's...
Kurt and Kate and Dignity Roasters. Yeah.
Okay, move your
Really
microphone
good.
because I'm going to throw this at you.
Okay. All right.
Oh,
Why am I
we're in the
doing
long
that?
shot. You can actually
Why
see
am I
this.
doing
And we're also going to throw
okay.
in the Kurt and Kate Mornings flying disc.
Okay, you know me, so yeah, be very careful.
Oh!
And it's here.
Did you catch it?
No,
Oh.
I didn't. This is mine.
Oh. Here, throw it back at me. I can do better than that. Here you go. Ready?
Okay.
Ah!
Ow! Ow!
I didn't hit her in the head.
Workman's comp. Yeah. No, that's
Oh.
good. My finger's broken, but it was. I found it. Yeah.
You really grabbed at that thing like it was
Yes.
serious.
Well, yeah.
Okay,
I
I'm
got
not going
it
to do
now.
that anymore.
I've
I
got them
promise. I
both
feel
now.
bad now. So anyway, you've got the Kurt and Kate Mornings coffee blend. You've got the coffee tumbler. You've got the flying disc. Throw it at your own risk because it's a disc.
Yes.
It rhymes. And then, of course, we have, what else we throw? Oh, the gel pens.
The gel pens. I love these gel pens.
The Moody
Yeah,
Radio
do you
gel
have one?
pens. I have two.
I might share one. Okay, good.
All right, so all of that in the prize pack. If you'd like a chance to win, just text the word coffee to the Kurt and Kate hotline. For your chance to win, you can see the number on the screen. It's 888-777-6810. That's 888-777-6810. Just text the word coffee for your chance to win one of these prize packs. Producer Mark, welcome.
Yes, thank you.
How many prize packs? We have 5, I think.
5. We're giving 5 away.
Cool.
All right, very good. You're looking good. All right, so there's producer Mark. And then back in the back, engineer Josh is punching the cameras and not literally, but he's pressing the buttons back in the, I call it the bunkhouse. That's where the engineers go because they go to sleep in there.
Sometimes with
I've
their
seen
machines.
you, Josh. I've
Yeah.
seen you taking naps back there.
Yeah. Well, they have to. They're guarding the machines, right?
I think we have his microphone actually available here. Can you say hi, Josh?
Well, good morning.
There
Good
he is.
morning.
That's where you are. Yeah.
Oh, you're
Yes.
see, you can hear it where
Yes,
he is.
you hear the fan
You know
noise.
where he is. Yeah.
Welcome to the noisy room.
It's very good. And this is the first time we've actually been able to, I can hear an echo.
Yeah.
This is the first time we've been able to, I'll turn this off while I'm talking.
Yeah, he's right next to us.
We usually don't have his microphone hot, so this is a first for us. So, Josh, thanks for setting everything up. Hey, can we take a shot from the new camera that we've been talking about on the
Yeah.
show that you installed in the studio?
Creepy one.
There you
There
are.
it is.
Here we go. Okay, will it follow me if I move?
It can.
All right, let me see if it works here.
Okay,
Yeah.
move.
It can. Will it? That's the question.
Will it?
Oh, it's not working.
Oh, there it is. Now it's.
Oh.
Oh, there it is. Yeah,
Okay.
now it's moving.
There it is. It's a lot of fun. How much did that camera cost? It's well worth it because it's so much fun.
It was priceless.
Very good.
It's very cool. It was creepy at first when we didn't know what it was, and
Yeah,
it just
we-
appeared.
Yeah, we came into the studio one day, if you haven't heard the story on the show, We arrived at the studio one morning, and it was sitting kind of right where this camera is right now, right next to it. And I was like, what in the world is going on? And then I just noticed that it was panning with me, you know, when I would move. And I didn't know for sure. I just thought it was. It's like the painting with the eyes that follows you. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Kate, first of all, what is this? This is creepy. And number two, it's following me.
Yeah.
And
we all go, sure
then
it was.
you noticed
Yeah,
it
then we saw it,
was
yeah.
actually because of, that setting that Josh has there. So then Josh, who was on the road at the time, we had to connect with him. And we're like, okay, what is this thing? And he's like, yeah. But it looked like it was actually on, which makes us very nervous because we're like, are we... is somebody watching us right now, or are we going out live on Facebook and we're not aware of it? And we had talked about it in the morning show meeting. Maybe we need to have a full video cast of the show. So we're doing the show live on the radio, and then you can also watch it like it's TV.
Right. We'll see. We'll see.
We're not up for that, though. Hey, Josh, is that in the hopper, or are we actually considering that?
I don't know. I mean, it could happen. I mean, we could make it happen for sure.
You could make it happen.
Yeah, Kate says don't. Please don't make it happen.
That means makeup every day. What?
Oh, I know. I have to get my makeup on. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I forgot to put my makeup on. All right. Carry on. Carry on.
Yeah, that's another unfair thing in life.
Yeah.
Men generally don't need makeup.
Well, that's why I got out of TV, because I was so tired of putting on makeup all the time. And when I was doing mornings, it's like 4 o'clock in the morning and I'm putting on makeup. It was so unnatural. And it drove me crazy.
Well, putting a stick near your eye at 4 in the morning is dangerous.
Yeah, that's a good point. I can see what you're talking about. We're former TV people, if you don't know, and even producer Mark spent some time in TV as well. Do you miss the makeup?
I don't. And, I can relate to the morning show makeup fix. The lights were there, so you had to take that shine, that glare off of your face when you go on over the air.
Yeah.
And there were days I put maybe a little too much on, so then it made me look
like a
too
clown.
bright. Right, exactly, yeah.
He looks like a clown. I'll never forget the consultant. When you're in broadcasting, you have the consultants, right? And some people call them insultants, even though we won't go into that. But this one guy basically said, hey, you need to start using eyeliner. And I'm like, and I did for like a couple of times because I was trying to do the right thing.
And then it starts melting into your eyes and you can't read.
But you're talking about putting it close to your eye and all that stuff. I couldn't get that thing right. I mean, it's just so unnatural for me to be doing something like that. And then I finally, big surprise here, I gave it up. So that's what happened with that.
No surprise. Well, I'll know if you ever come in with it.
Yeah, well, it's
It's
not
just a flashback
going.
to the good old days.
It's not gonna happen. Trust me on this.
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna get to the. Do we have some comments here? I want to give folks a shout out who are tuning in here today.
Yeah, there's quite a few shout outs this morning.
Yeah.
We have Dion who says hi. We have Peggy who says, hi, Josh. Love you guys. Glad you're having another Facebook show so that we can see you guys. And also, always faithfully, Kate, your sister, Nancy.
That's right.
She wrote in this morning, good morning to my wonderful sister, Kate, and all you beautiful people. Kurt, stop throwing things at my sister. Love from LaBelle.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't have any more. I don't have anything. I have a pen. I have one of the Moody Radio pens.
No,
Watch
that would
out.
be really
Here it
dangerous.
comes.
Yeah. Throwing a flying disc is a whole other thing.
If you'd like a chance to win one of the prize packs that includes the flying disc, just text coffee to 888-777-6810. Now, we were also discussing something else that's vitally important on the show. And that is the rubber chicken slingshots that Kate gave me. She went on Amazon. She said, I know Kurt will love these.
Yeah.
And I do, and
You're
I
a big
did.
fan of the rubber chicken in general.
Anything rubber chicken,
Yeah.
I'm on it. So the story is, for those of you who are wondering, well, what's the deal with the rubber chicken slingshots? Supposedly, they're supposed to stick to everything, especially windows, refrigerators. You stick to everything when you shoot them.
Your friend's forehead,
Your friend's forehead.
It's supposed to.
but none of them stuck
No.
to anything. And I was frustrated one day, and engineer Josh had been messing around with these slingshots, and it was after I had spent a day off. I had a couple days off, came back, and I'm like, what are the chickens doing out? Were you guys playing without me? Is this really happening? And you said, no. And then it was Josh who had come in after the show, and he's messing around with them. So I was frustrated, and I just went, all right, well, I'm just going to shoot at the ceiling. And guess what? It stuck.
Yes.
And then I grabbed the other one and shot it up to the ceiling, and it stuck.
Yes.
And so I spent an entire show. We had 2 an hour. Remember that, producer Mark? And I kept adding. I'm like, surely there's one that's not going to stick because it hasn't stuck to anything before. And every single one of them stuck up there on the ceiling tile. Can we get a shot of that with that fancy camera? There we go.
Nice.
There they are.
Why don't you zoom in a little bit? There they are.
Can you?
And look at the pattern there. It's almost like artwork.
Yeah.
I was
It
so
is.
proud of myself for doing that. It doesn't take much to make me proud. Pride goes before
The
destruction.
fall.
And could we see that shot again? Kate, when you came back, you said, I want to add to this. And we want to know, we were like, okay, we're curious how long they're going to stick, so we'll just leave them there. And you gave me that one that's brown. Can we zoom in any closer on that one to the one
I
that's
don't know
brown?
what happened to it in my purse, but it just turned
You only
brown.
had one left. It was
Right.
your purse is toxic,
I
is
have
what it is.
no idea.
So you gave it to me, and it only had one eye as well. So I'm
Yeah.
calling him Cyclops. And I fired him up there. And if you can see, go back to the shot if you can, Josh.
Yeah.
See the one that's brown? It doesn't match the other ones.
Yeah.
It's up there. So
I think he's cute.
so there we go. And then Andrew, our station manager, who was not in today.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. We were talking about this on the show, if you were listening to the radio show. And the fact that he kind of made a comment in the meeting, the morning show meeting. He said, those rubber chickens, they probably need to go.
They need to come down so they don't stain the tiles.
And I don't think they're really going to stain the tiles. I mean, it doesn't have a disclaimer where it says it's a non-staining rubber chicken slingshot.
No.
But I'm thinking that it doesn't. And producer Mark was taking a look at this even today, and he said, I don't think these things are going to stain. Now, maybe the brown one is.
Stop
And
picking on my
fault.
chicken.
That's your fault.
That is a cute little chicken. I like it.
So we
So
were
I'll take
thinking
him
about doing, if we have to take him down, which is, where's that box of Kleenex? It's going to be a rough time
Yeah.
for me. Actually taking him down here during Coffee with Kurt and Kate live on the air, so to speak. So
Yeah.
if you want us to take the rubber chickens down during this broadcast, you need to comment right now in the comment section and let us know. And producer Mark is keeping track of all of that. So let us know when it comes to that. By the way, let me grab this.
There you go. Nice step stool.
We have a step stool. So Engineer Josh, thank you for bringing this in, I think. So we have everything we need to take him down. So.
Okay. Here we
Are
go.
you going to get up on the step stool? Or is it
No,
me?
not me. No.
If we get the thumbs up, or you're not going to do it?
No, not me.
Oh, that's right. You need
Yeah,
a new knee.
I need a new
forgot.
knee, so I don't need 2 new knees.
Oh, man. All right. So leave your comments in the comment section. Hey, producer Mark, are we getting any comments about the rubber chickens? Take them down, leave them up?
You know, we had Michael on YouTube who had said, can you show the ceiling chickens, which we did for him.
Yes.
So there's definitely that interest, but I have not seen anything recently on whether to keep them up or take them down.
Maybe we'll just
Right.
leave them up if we have folks just say, don't take them down. I
Take
don't
them
know.
down another day.
Well,
I don't think they're going to fall anytime soon, honestly. They
I
look
would love
pretty
to
sturdy.
see them like this in 10 years.
Christmas, decorate them with the little red caps. We could do that.
All right, maybe you're taking this to extremes, but I like it. I think that's good. Pastor Mike Fabarez
Oh, yes.
is probably one of my favorite Bible teachers, and Focal Point, you can catch that program Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. right here on Moody Radio Florida, and he has agreed to spend some time with us. He's joining us from California this morning, where it is very early. Hi, Mike. How in the world are you doing?
Well, good morning to this wonderful rubber chicken show that I'm on. This is awesome.
What do you think? Should we take these down or leave them up? What say you?
Well, you know, as a trustee of Moody Bible Institute, I will authorize a new ceiling tile.
Oh, Oh,
If it
all
does
right.
stain your tile, you just leave them up, and
It's
we
who
will
you know.
we'll
Yeah.
replace the $20 tile, and you'll be okay. It'll be all right.
He's a trustee. Isn't that great?
Yes. So you got permission above Andrew. That's good.
Oh, boy.
All right,
That's
now we're
wonderful.
safe.
You just tell Andrew to settle down. That's what you need to do.
He needs
Tell
to
him just to relax.
Oh, man. We saw you in Orlando at National Religious Broadcasters when we were doing the show live there, and you joined us. And that was such a good time. And again, we love your Bible teaching and Focal Point. It's amazing to see how God has really grown that ministry. That's got to be exciting for you.
Been great to see. It's been one of those programs that, no one came and bankrolled it. It was just one of these things where we started on one station and went to 2 and 3 and 4 up to almost 1,000 now. So it's great to watch it grow and just be a kind of a grassroots thing as people listen and as they support it. We're able to look at other stations and continue to move forward. So it's been a great ride. It's been wonderful to watch. And I just love the fact that teaching the Bible is still something on radio that people want to listen to. And we've had so many great calls and so many great letters. And I know you get to see that just on the front lines every single day, but it's a joy to be a part of it all.
Yeah.
Can I just say something?
No, I was going to say this.
I'm
Go
very
ahead.
envious of your bookshelves. You know how bookish we are. And are you at home or are you in your office?
I am in my office right now.
Oh, we love your office.
And I do have people say, is that a fake background? And I don't know how to prove that this is really my office, but this is my office. And, pastors need books. These are our tools of the trade. So, I've got plenty of books there over my shoulder.
Very
And thankfully,
nice.
if you
Great.
can look closely, you can see they're all cataloged and they're labeled. When I was a young pastor, I had some old pastors say to me, you better get those things organized because it'll just keep growing. And so thankfully, someone had the foresight to warn me to get them cataloged. And with some great assistance in my life, they're able to catalog all those so I can go on my computer and look up where those books are and go to my bookshelf and grab them.
Wow, that's great.
let's settle
Better than
this-
saying it's the red book.
Yeah, exactly. That just doesn't work. Let's settle this, though. Printed, physical copies of books or digital. Do you have a hybrid model where you like a little bit of each? Or
Well,
what's your
yeah,
preference?
I know that's a big debate. And I have a lot of peers and friends that are all purists. All they want is printed books. But I'll tell you what, it is great to be able to go on my computer. I have thousands of digital books and just to be able to search them. And I can notate them. And I've always been the kind that when I have a book, I don't want to mark it up. I don't like highlighting it. I just want it to be in good shape. So when I go back and read it again, I'm not all influenced by what I thought the first time. So it's great to have digital books because I can digitally highlight them. And if I don't like the highlights, I can erase them and put notes. And it's just, I do love digital books, I must say. And if I have a choice between buying a digital book or a printed book, I will usually get the digital book. And if it's a really good book, I can't help but buy the print book as well. So, but you can only have so many books and, we run out of space.
Maybe not.
Well, maybe
not.
That's
Okay, so I was
questionable.
jumping up and down. The camera was not
I
on
know,
me.
yeah.
I'm like, Mike and I, we're like two peas in a pod here. I'm OCD when it comes to my printed books. I don't like to highlight. I don't like to write in them. As far as my Bible is concerned, I know it would be great to pass down a Bible that had notes in it, and maybe to your kids and your grandkids and stuff like that. But I can't bring myself to do that, so I write in a journal. That's the way I get around that. But I'm with you. If there's something highlighted or written in a book, even the Bible, this really hit me right between the eyes at this time. It's distracting for me. It's interesting to go back and see what I noted, but then I'm distracted when I want to read it again, and maybe there's something God wants to bring out of what I'm reading, but I can't see it because there's all of these notes in there. That's just me.
I, on the other hand, carry these everywhere I go. And I highlight all kinds of things, but in different colors. And then I go back and I go, oh, yeah, I remember, and where I was then and where I am now. For me, I'm a highlighter. I am.
Well,
We have
Kate,
that argument, and I'm sorry to both of you. You would never want my books.
We have support groups for that. We can
we do.
enroll.
We do. We can connect you with that.
You
But
start with, "Hi, my name is Kate. I'm a highlighter," and we can break you of that.
I don't. I am Kate. I'm a highlighter. Oh, Kate, you're the highlight of my morning. Let me tell you right here.
My favorite part, though, was I had my book open and I would highlight it, my Bible, and my daughter Leah found Leah in the Bible, and then she circled every one of them. It was really when she was little.
That's actually kind of
That's precious.
sweet.
I'm
I like
sorry.
that.
That's a good
great.
one.
How do you do Bible study as a pastor? Okay, so here's the temptation, right? You are a pastor, and it is your job to study the Bible, prepare messages for you, write books, and all of these things. Why are we showing the rubber chickens on the ceiling? Josh, did you do that to see if I paid attention? As a pastor, you're trafficking in holy things each and every day, and that's the blessing of what you get to do because that's your calling and that's what you love. But when it comes to your own personal devotional time, when you're not looking for a message or something to write for a book or an article or what have you, how do you balance all of that out?
Yeah, well, for me, I have my office arranged where one of my chairs is just for my own reading, and you can't see it over my shoulder, but it's a comfy chair, and I want to make sure that when I'm reading in that chair, I'm reading for my own enrichment and my own edification. It's where I pray. It's where I read the Bible. It's where I read books that I have set aside just to try to encourage my own heart. A lot of biographies are on that shelf, and I rotate books through that bookshelf, and it's all right there at reach. And it's a practice in the morning. And when I move from that chair into the chair I'm sitting in now, then I kind of shift gears and say, okay, now I'm studying for something else I'm doing, for something I'm writing or something I'm preaching. And that it helps me to physically move spaces. And I think that's a good thing for me. Not that I disconnected from what I'm doing on the weekend. And certainly the way I try to preach, which I hope you hear on Focal Point, I really want to drive my hearers to application. So, of course, even when I'm studying for the weekend, I start with myself and I say, okay, how does this passage make a difference in my life? And what's the point of this? Because truth always demands a response. What's the response that God is demanding from me? And so, of course, I don't ever want to study just for someone else. I always want to start with how this text affects my life. But for me to keep those times sequestered where I'm saying I'm not thinking about how to deal with someone else. I just want to deal with myself. I physically move 20 feet that direction, and I'm able to focus on just enriching and edifying my own spiritual life.
It's so true that we make time for the things that are most important for us. I'm sure you've heard that phrase. And yet we are challenged. I don't want anybody to become too discouraged or pack your bags and go on a guilt trip. But we need to talk about this. As believers, sometimes we feel like we're not spending enough time with the Lord. We try to read the Bible systematically, and then maybe at the beginning of the year, and then we become very discouraged, and then we give up. I know that you have, over the years, probably have a lot of folks probably right there in your own church, and they're like, well, Mike, how in the world can I really embrace the Bible, and how can I structure my devotional time in a way that would be helpful for me? Now, we're all different, and you just kind of mentioned the switching the chairs thing, but maybe you have a few more tips for those who are joining us today who are like, I want more of God's Word. I need it, but, and then fill in the blank. I just have a hard time connecting with it. And maybe I'm distracted, and maybe I've got a million thoughts in my head. And so this is where the rubber meets the road. What do you think?
Yeah, well, let me start with the feeling, first of all, because we are in an imperfect world that is filled with a lot of things that we've got to deal with. And Paul addresses that in 1 Corinthians 7. I mean, just think about it. If you are married, he says, your interests immediately right there are divided. I mean, you've got to worry about a lot of things in your life just because you have a family or a spouse. And of course, we all have jobs. We have other things we have to do besides just sit there at the feet of Christ and enrich our spiritual lives. And of course, preachers are always trying to get us to think about how to take the secular times and integrate our thinking about Christ. And that's true. But, if you're working on a spreadsheet for some, business meeting you've got, it's hard for you to think you've connected with Christ for the last hour when you're doing, some kind of a balance sheet. So I get the fact that we want to have more in our spiritual lives than we have. And I guess I would just say, to quote The Princess Bride, get used to disappointment, because there's going to be, between now and the time we meet him face to face, that nagging feeling that we just don't have enough. We're not doing enough. We're not connecting enough. We're not praying enough. We're not thinking of him enough. And so in a sense, we got to cut ourselves a little bit of slack to know, as Psalm 103 says, we have an understanding Father who knows we're just dust. Now, that's never, as you've heard my preaching, I hope, going to be an excuse for being lazy or not prioritizing these things. So I would say not only do you need a place, but you need to have a time and you need to have a method. And if you need help in making this regular, you need some accountability. So a time, a place, a method, and some accountability in your life. Those four things I always try to tell people in discipling them, figure out where that's going to be. Find a good place that's quiet and that's away from and free from distractions. Have a time in your day that it's the best time that you can carve out. Of course, you got to be certain places at certain times. Find the best time. Usually for most people, that's in the morning before everything gets busy. Jesus used to get up long before it became light, and he was out there by himself connecting with his Father. And that's a good pattern for us if you can do it. Some people can't. I understand that. They have to carve out some midday break, and great. Whatever it is, a time and a place and a method. You've really got to learn a method of saying, I'm not just going to kind of float around in my Bible and figure out whatever I like the best and just start reading there and journaling about that. Really tackle some books of the Bible and move systematically through it. Figure out how to look at a text and know what is it that I'm understanding about its original context, and then what are the timeless principles, and then what difference is that going to make in my life today? And so that method, I call it the tanning method, then, always, and now. You got to get your tanning in every day, where you at least are looking at one text of Scripture, and don't bite off more than you can chew. If you say, I'm going to tackle the book of Colossians, and every day I'm going to get in it, and I'm going to just take one or two verses and really deal with what the then is. You might need a study Bible or a Bible dictionary next to you so you don't misunderstand what's going on in the text, and then take the time to write out what are the eternal principles, and then say, okay, based on those eternal principles, what is true for all Christians in all times based on this text? Now I can sit down and say, I got a business meeting, I got some fears in my life, I've got some challenges coming up in my health. How do these principles relate to that? And then write it out, journal it. And if you have that method going in your life, and you've got it going every day, then you don't need the fourth step. But if you need help, you need to get someone that you say, I want you to be my accountability partner here in making sure I do this every day. And I'm going to text you when I'm done, and I'm going to text you one thing that I learned, and just make that a habit of your life. So a time, a place, a method, and some accountability. And I think you can start to make this happen. And then if you think, well, then I'll feel full spiritually and I'll feel like my priorities are all right. Back to my first point. The foundational point is we're never going to have that sense of, hey, I'm praying as much as I should. I am walking with the Lord and devoted to him and feeling this great feeling of harmony with God to the fullest. You're always going to feel that sense of, I could do more. I could read more. I could study more. I could know more. I could pray more. And just don't beat yourself up over that. Just keep at it. Make sure you have a time, a place, a method, and some accountability. And you'll chip away at this. And a year later, you do this for 365 times, you're going to say, wow, I do know the Lord more. I do understand his word more. I do connect with him throughout the day more. I'm always thinking, at least periodically throughout my day, what I've learned in the morning. And you're going to find you're going to make progress. It's just a little bit at a time. It's one step at a time. And don't be discouraged when you miss a day or you miss a week. Just say, okay, God, forgive me. I'm going to make this a priority, get back at it, a time, a place, a method, and a partner. And you can do this.
Showing up and being consistent. That is the
Yeah.
key, which is so very important. And by the way, we have a bunch of people who are probably celebrating right now because Mike quoted a line from The Princess Bride. It just occurs to me. And Kate, have you ordered the Princess Bride Study Bible? I think it's
I
been
missed
out
that
for some
one.
time.
I do have the
Yeah.
Hobbit devotional, though.
Oh, the
I
Hobbit
do have
Study
that.
Bible.
Yeah.
Hey, Mike, would you recommend the Hobbit Study
It's a
Bible?
devotional.
It's not a Moody Publishing work, so it's for the name you can trust has not produced that work yet.
The name you can't trust, all right, is the Hobbit Study Bible,
Yeah.
right? Anything with Hobbit in it.
You gotta
and,
like.
and then on the side, can you see like the
11
little notes, the little insights?
Yeah.
Bilbo's insight or whatever, Bilbo Baggins. I could
Actually,
see
it brought in the word a lot. It was really kind of cute.
All right.
It's good.
Okay, so you're just tuning in and you're like, have you guys given away all the prize packs? Not yet. Let me tell you what you can win in these prize packs. We have the new and improved Curtin Cape Mornings coffee tumblers. So cheers to you. We also have the Curtin Cape Mornings coffee blend, courtesy of Dignity Roasters. It is a blend just for our community, which is a lot of fun. The Curtin Cape Mornings Frisbee, also known as a flying disc. And yes, as you can see there on the screen, a couple of Moody Radio gel pens. So
Like them.
Yeah, we like
You'll
them a
like
lot.
them. They have a good weight to them.
So if you'd like a chance to win one of the prize packs, you never know. You can't win if you don't enter. All you have to do is text coffee to the Curtin Kate hotline, which is 888-777-6810. That's right there on your screen. 888-777-6810. Dr. Mike Fabarez is hanging out with us, and he's the founding pastor of Compass Bible Church in California, president of the Compass Bible Institute. He is the Bible teacher on Focal Points, Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. And he's written a number of best-selling books. And I say best-selling because, you read one of Mike's books. All right, this sounds like what is it? Too much flattery, but I have to tell you. And Mike, I've told you this face to face, I think. Every time I hear you or read something you've written, it blesses me sincerely in a very big way. So, if you run across a book from Mike, make sure you embrace it and check it out because your soul is going to thank you. We're talking about reading books. You are ready to release a new book. We touched on this back at the end of May when we were in Orlando with you, and it's for Moody Publishers. It's a book on a topic that, as you mentioned to us then, you really don't find very many books on this topic. You used to back in maybe the old days, but not really anything that is current, and that is a book basically about envy and dealing with envy, and something that we were talking about in the last hour of Curtin Cape Mornings today. We had a blogger. Her name is Rebecca Matt. She joined us, and she has written an article that was very, very powerful about, and she goes back to when she was younger, and she was an actress. She liked acting, and so she's taking this metaphor of a play, and it's the role that she got versus the role that she wanted. She didn't get the role she wanted in the play, and then she applied that to our lives, how we have these expectations, and how God puts us in different roles, and how we can be challenged when it comes to all of that, accepting that. But you see, God knows what role will satisfy us the most and how He wants to use us. He's sovereign. But we can be envious of somebody else who has maybe a more visible role or the role that we wanted. That can be a problem, can't it?
Absolutely. And if I were to say there is a sin that led to the first homicide in the scripture, and there's a sin that really was the human reason for putting Christ on a cross. It was the thing that took hold in people's hearts that led them to crucify Jesus. You'd say, I want to know what that sin is, and I'd want to make sure it's not in my life. And that sin, of course, is envy. Envy led to the murder, right, of Abel, Cain and Abel, and that homicide of his brother, that was motivated by envy. And as Pilate was even keen enough to detect that the Sanhedrin and the Pharisees had delivered Jesus up out of envy. And I think to myself, we have very little talk about envy. We have very little discussion about envy. And you can't discuss envy without the thing it's predicated on. There's a foundational sin that starts to take root in our hearts and leads then to envy. And that sin is coveting. It's that desire for something I don't have. And then when I see it in someone else, and just to use the metaphor that you just talked about, and sadly I didn't get to hear it, but if I don't get the role I want in a play or in life or on whatever it might be, first of all, I feel bad I don't have it, because I see it, I know what it is, and I wanted it, I didn't get it. And you can get down to your, the follicles on your head, right? I don't have the head of hair I want. I don't have the body type I want. I don't have the respect I want. I don't have the family I want, whatever it might be. And first you feel that hankering, that desire, that craving. I wish I had that. That would make me happy if I had that. And I'm not happy because I don't have it. Well, then when you find it in someone else, here's the sin of envy, right? Now, I really don't like that they have it. I don't like that they have it and I don't have it, right? Go back to Cain and Abel. Abel is accepted here in his worship of God. Cain is not. He doesn't like that he's not accepted. He wants to be accepted, and he's not. And God even shows up and says, listen, all you got to do is repent and get it right. And we can work this out. It's all good. And yet he says, no, my brother has it. I don't like that he has it. And I'm going to do something about it. And in that case, right, it's murder. And I think there's probably few people that are going to read this book that are on the cusp of murder. And yet, J. Warner Wallace, who's a friend of mine who read the book and wrote a little endorsement for it, he goes back right to real homicide. And he says, I can tell you, I've investigated a lot of homicides in the LA Detectives Homicide Division that was motivated by envy. So it's still leading to murder, but certainly it is leading to character assassination and gossip and just bad attitudes and all kinds of things that we do toward people that have what we want, and we don't have it. I've seen it ruin families. I've seen it mess up small groups and churches, and I see it just really corroding the interior lives of people who think they're really godly, but they just know there's this nagging discontent that ends up being a kind of hostility toward people. They don't even understand why they don't like that person. And yet they don't. And they scroll through Facebook, they go through their social media, they see the gal at church who's got seemingly the perfect marriage, and they're going on these great vacations, and she's got perfect teeth, and she's, 40 pounds lighter. And it's like there's this brewing hostility toward other people that we don't even understand. We don't even know. But yet we suck in all of these things that make us feel this discontented covetousness that leads to envy. And we just got to start to analyze it. And Satan's one of his greatest strategies is just to keep us not even thinking about these kinds of things. If it's not coming out in our lives in some, horrific way, then it's like we don't even think about it. And yet the word of God is supposed to be this sharper than a two-edged sword that goes down to pierce down into my motives and the thoughts and intentions of my heart. So this book is trying to do that. And I don't know who's going to buy it. A lot of books are picked up because people say, that's a great title, I need that. I didn't know how to market this. I don't know how to get people to read it. All I can tell you is from a pastor's perspective, I know this sin is causing damage in Christians' lives. So I subtitled the book, A Big Problem You Didn't Know You Had. And I just want people to pick it up and just read it, because I do think from a pastor's heart, I'm not a professional author. This is not about my income. This is not about, sales or any of that. I'm never going to make, a living off of writing. I want people out of my care for their spiritual lives to try and knock this thing out and deal with in their own hearts this problem that probably is causing more damage than they know. So envy, it's coming out in November, I think. I don't know why it takes so long. I finished writing it a few months ago, but it's coming out, and I love the graphic on the front. The movie.
I was going to point that out. That is awesome. Who came up with that? That's perfect.
Well, in the first chapter, I talk about where the word comes from, and the word envy comes from the Latin word invidia, and that really is what Jesus says in the Greek New Testament. He uses the word that translates into the Latin word to see and to look at someone, and you're looking at them with this askance kind of, sense of, I don't like it. And Jesus tells parables. It's translated into English envy, and yet the word is really your eye is bad. Your eye is not right. And your eye, right, is because you look at people, even when you scroll Facebook, I wish you could kind of keep your camera on and watch as you make these faces and you feel this feeling and it comes out through your eyes. You can see it in how you twist your eyebrows. And so I just love that the artist, they must have at least read the first chapter, because that is really what I try to say, is that you got to watch what's going on. If you can just envision your eyes responding to certain people in your church or your circle or your coworkers. And that's just great. They captured it. I love it. It's a great graphic. And I love that every chapter, I've seen the layout of the book. Every chapter starts with those eyes again, and it's printed there as a graphic on every start of every new chapter. So I hope that people enjoy this book. I spend the second half of the book just dealing with solutions. And I'll just give you one verse, for instance, which we probably never put in connection with this. But I say, if we could just get this one command straight, here's what it says in 1 Corinthians 13. Love does not envy, right? So even if I could really love the gal that I don't like at church, right? If I could love the guy who's got all the talent and all the hair I don't have, or whatever it might be, I need to learn to love. That's one of what I use as 3 biblical commands and principles to develop and cultivate in my life so I can let this go away. It's like a lot of things in life. If you focused on the sin, and that's not really the goal, is to focus on the sin, is to focus on the things the Bible says will eradicate the sin. And love is one of them. So there's a preview, and there's 2 other very important ones. And I'll just have you pick up the book to learn what those are.
Oh, look at that tease. That
that's
was
good.
good.
Though.
That
That's
was really good.
stuff.
Man,
Yeah.
that's excellent.
Thank you.
By the way, Mike, do you have your Curtain Cape Mornings coffee tumbler? Do you have one there?
You know, I was talking to Josh off the air, and he guilted me earlier this morning saying, you know, do you have this? And I got to tell you, if you gave me one when we saw each other in Orlando,
Somebody
Got
stole
lost
it.
somewhere.
I don't think the maid in the hotel got it. I really think I brought it home, but it's probably in the workroom out here in the cupboard, because I know this is going to be horrible to admit on this program, do not drink coffee. And I never drank coffee. I tried it in the dorms of Moody Bible Institute when I was a student, because everybody said, you want to do this all nighter, you better drink coffee. And to me, it tasted horrifically bad. And of course, back in the day, and I'm pretty old, so you know, I don't know if it was Folgers or what it was, but it wasn't all the stuff they got today that I'm sure tastes great. But I figured, I haven't started smoking. I haven't started, with coffee. Why should I start now with either of those vices? So I'm not a coffee drinker, and people have said, oh, just try this. And I just, I don't know. Now it's a principled thing, right? Now I'm known as the pastor that doesn't drink coffee. And I just
It's
figure
official.
I'll just run out the clock on this.
It is good for other
one.
drinks, though. It's good for other drinks as well, just so you know.
I guess, but Josh asked me, like, what do you drink? I think it was Josh asked. Someone asked me, maybe it was Mark, but I said off the air, I drink a lot of water. So that's what I do, because I had a kidney stone back in the day, and they said, if you drank water, you wouldn't get these. And so I've been drinking a lot of water ever since, because if you've had a kidney stone, and I'll bet some of our listeners have, I'd rather do anything else. So
Okay, so you saw me reach for my water now. Now you've officially scared me. I'm afraid of a kidney stone.
We've got
Well,
water.
Florida is a lot like California. We spend a lot of time outside. The sun's always shining. And they say this happens a lot in Florida and a lot in California. And if you just drink a lot of water, that'll sure help. So I'll tell you what, there's nothing more convincing than having a kidney stone to get you drinking your daily.
Yes.
That will motivate you.
My mom
big
had
time.
7 kids and a kidney stone, said the kidney stone was worse.
I've heard ladies tell me that too.
Yeah.
So drink your water, everybody.
Yeah.
And that caffeine in the coffee can dry you out and give you kidney stones. So drink your coffee. I'm all about the coffee. The tumbler
And
looks
love
great.
your neighbor. Drink your coffee.
drink your water too.
Yeah.
Please.
All right, so we broke news. Dr. Mike Fabarez is well hydrated.
Yeah.
I am. I have my water right here. Look right there. There it is.
There you go.
Mike, thanks so much for kind of clearing the deck for us so that we could spend some time with you. You know that we love to hang out with you. And when the book comes out in November, we're going to have you back on the show.
That'd be great. I'd love to talk about it. It's an important book, I think.
Yeah.
Written several books, but I think this one is probably the most probing into those dark recesses of our thinking. So I hope God uses it for good. And, you write it and you write it in privacy, and you hope that a lot of people will read it in the privacy of their own lives, and that God will use it as a tool.
And thank you, by the way, for overruling station manager Andrew about the rubber chicken slingshots on the ceiling here in the studio. So I guess I'm not going to be taking them down.
Yeah, leave them up.
You
That's
made
good.
him
And
very
one
happy.
day in the middle of a broadcast, they will fall down, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. And we'll cut, if it's like we're playing a song or something, we'll just break in like a news break. News flash. One of the rubber chicken slingshots just came down off the ceiling tile. Trust me,
Well,
Mike,
here's my prediction, Lynn, my prognostication. By the time I come back for the Envy interview, I'll bet they won't all still be up there. I think the forces of sin in the world
And gravity.
Gravity, sin,
entropy. Yeah, that's what I was thinking
yeah.
I
about
think
too.
things are going to go from order to disorder, including the sticky stuff that's on those chickens, and they will probably fall down before I get back on this program. That's my guess. I'm not a prophet nor the son of a prophet, but
Exactly.
I am prognosticating that today. So write it down, and we'll see if I'm right.
All right, Mike, have a great day today.
All right, you too. Thanks for having me on.
You bet.
Thanks.
Always. Dr. Mike Fabarez from Focal Point. Don't
Got
forget
up
you can
very
catch
early
his,
for us.
You can catch his teaching program Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. right here on Moody Radio Florida. So we don't even need the step stool. So we had this big drama, and producer Mark, I've just noticed that we need to wrap up here, but do we have anybody who has weighed in on this rubber chicken thing?
It is pretty unanimous over the last half an hour. We have Michael again on YouTube who said, keep these chickens attached to the ceiling. Bonnie writes in, leave the chickens alone.
My cousin.
They're not bothering anybody.
Is that your cousin?
That's my cousin Bonnie
right.
in New Hampshire.
How about this? Moody Radio, South Florida. Our friends down on the southeastern side of the state, leave them up.
There they are, our co-workers.
That's
Thank
right.
you guys for supporting us.
And we
Thank
have
you.
we have Alan who says, does Andrew have the same type of ceiling? Maybe he needs his own ceiling with chickens.
Maybe if we got him rubber chickens.
He's envious of our
Envy.
chickens in the studio.
Love you.
Connect the
Love
dots.
your neighbor.
A, B, C, D. Yeah, he's connecting the dots on that. All right, we have to say goodbye. This is so much fun. I wish we could go another hour, but we can't. But you still have some time if you do it like within the next, grace period, maybe 2 minutes.
Yeah.
If you'd like to basically try to win our prize pack, Curtin Cape Mornings, Curtin Kate, coffee with Curtin Kate, prize pack with the Curtin Kate Mornings official stuff.
Pens.
You can have the tumbler. Go ahead, Kate. Run through it. The tumbler, the pens.
The tumbler, the pens, the flying disc, and coffee.
There you go. All you have
There
to
they
do
are.
is text
It's all
the
there.
word coffee in the next 2 minutes, if you haven't done so already, to 888-777-6810. That's 888-777-6810. Coffee with Curtin Cates. That's
And
a
the
wrap.
chickens.
And the chicken. Round of applause for you guys for your patience
Thank
and
you.
joining us. We hope you have been blessed. We'll see you back here, not on Facebook and YouTube, but on the radio Monday morning, 6 a.m. It's what we like to call dark and early. We'll see you then.